Welcome back. In this video, I'm going to review tools and skills that you will use throughout our writing project. First, I'll give a brief tutorial on Zotero, a program that will allow you to keep your references organized. Then, I'll give a brief overview of the American Psychological Association reference style, also known as APA. First, what is Zotero? Zotero is one of many free reference managers that you can use to collect and manage sources to cite in your writing. Using a reference manager is not required, but they do save you quite a bit of time. I'll go over Zotero here, but feel free to use any program you prefer. The Zotero website will give you multiple download options. I recommend that you download the main program, which comes with a Microsoft Word plugin. This plugin will allow you to add formatted citation and source information directly from Zotero while you are writing in Word. In addition, installing the Firefox connector will allow you to save source information from web pages directly in Zotero. I'll explain that more later. Once you install the program on your computer, you can set up your reference style preferences. A reference style is a standard system for recording information in your reference list and citing those references in your text. Reference styles also make it easier for the reader to locate information in your paper. There are many different reference styles. We'll use the American Psychological Association's 7th edition, also known as APA. Select this option from the reference styles available in Zotero. Next, set up your library folders. A library folder is a location where you can save information for each source. In preparation for this class, I'll make a folder specific for our writing project. Once you create a main folder, you can also organize sources within subfolders. For example, you might want to create separate subfolders for each section of your paper: biology, history, culture and social practices, and politics and resistance. Now that we have Zotero set up, we can begin collecting references. To do that, I've gone to the PubMed website and entered some search terms that correspond with my topic. I'll cover search terms and search strategies in another video. For now, let's focus on the reference. The PubMed page for this reference lists the authors, title, date, and publication. So I could type all of this information out manually, making sure that I'm following APA style guidelines. Or I could use one of the two identifiers circled on the page, the PubMed ID or the digital object identifier, to save all of that information directly in Zotero. Here, I copied the PubMed ID from the reference web page. Next, I opened Zotero and highlighted the folder I want to use. When I click on the wand icon, I can bring up a field that allows me to enter a reference identifier. I simply paste in my PubMed ID and press enter. As you can see, the reference is saved with all of the information I'll need later. In addition to PubMed IDs and DOIs, you can also input International Standard Book numbers into the wand field to automatically save the reference data for a book. Another option you have for collecting source information is to use the Firefox connector. When you have this connector installed, Firefox will display a paper icon when you can download reference information from a web page. Here I am again on a PubMed reference web page, so I could click the button to import the source information just like I did with the wand. Note, whichever method you use, you need to check that Zotero has imported the information correctly. This is especially important with web pages. Some web pages aren't set up in a way that allows Zotero to import all of the data fields. So there may be author names, dates, or other key info missing, as you can see in this example. When that happens, simply update the reference in Zotero by hand. After I've collected all the sources I need, I can begin to cite them in my writing. Here, I'm using a parenthetical citation. Parenthetical citations go at the end of sentences to indicate the source of my information. To input a citation, click the Zotero menu and then click the Add Edit button. This will bring up a search field you can use to input the citation you need. Once I find my source, I simply highlight it and click Enter and the citation will appear in the text. If you want to use a narrative citation, there is one extra step. With narrative citations, you are citing a source by including the author name directly in the sentence. To do this, click on the highlighted source and then press Author. Instead of putting the entire citation in parentheses, Zotero will only add the date in parentheses. To complete the citation, you add the author name or names directly in Word. Finally, you'll add the reference list that will go at the end of each one of your papers. Do this by clicking on the Add Edit Bibliography button. Zotero will automatically update this list as you add citations. Now, let's move on to APA style. Here, I've listed 3 common reference types you'll draw on for your writing. There are a couple things we can notice about APA style. 1. The author name always comes first and is formatted using the last name and initials. Next comes the year in parentheses. Then we have the title of the work. The formatting of the title changes depending on the reference type. And finally, we have other elements that are specific to each type, like publisher names for books and volume numbers for journals. While Zotero will format each one of your sources according to the style, it's not a magic program. As I said previously, sometimes source info gets imported into Zotero incorrectly, and you'll need to make updates. The Library Resources page of the course website has links to more information on APA style, including other source types not described here. We've covered a lot of information in this video. The main goal was to familiarize you with reference managers and citation styles so that you know the resources you can draw on when you're writing. If you have any questions, please reach out to me and we can resolve any issues together. Until next time, happy writing.